I wanted to talk a little bit about why I didn't go to chemotherapy. Not last week. They wanted to have more tests done, so basically to clear them to do chemo. But this is the reason I haven't followed through with it beyond that, and I may or I may not. Part of it has to do with this chart too. But I wanted to talk about it so that people would know that I really did intend to start chemo last week. I guess it was the week before last now, but I didn't, and there were some pretty compelling reasons as far as in my thinking, not to. First of all, I was scheduled for chemo. I made the decision really too quickly. I was faced with this chart about who's going to live and who's going to die, and it was shocking to me what lousy chance I had to be alive and without cancer in 10 years. And it was a knee-jerk reaction that I just said, okay, schedule the first chemo right then. The doctor ordered some tests, and before I got to the last of them, there were complications getting them scheduled, and so when I didn't get the last one scheduled, I went to Austin for meetings with the American Cancer Society and my friend Connie Reese, and so I had to postpone chemo because I hadn't finished all the tests that I needed to do. When I came back, I wound up spending pretty much every day in bed and just exhausted. Made me start thinking, look at all those medicines I take. I already have a heart condition. Not a serious one, but it causes some complications. I had a fall when I was in late high school. I was a dancer, and basically it put me in a brace, and for a number of years, and I only gradually came out of a brace when I was in my 20s. I went in and out of the brace. The back injury basically was pretty good for a number of years. If I would stand too long or bend over, do some kind of repetitive motions, vacuuming, I've never been able to do. Things like that. Honestly, the prescription was you have to lay flat for a week. Not fun, but nothing that they can fix surgically and guarantee not have the kind of pain that I have when it was flaring up. Basically, at this age, it flares up a lot, so I can't do the regular kinds of things that other people do. I can't stand at a stove and cook. I can't stand at a sink and wash dishes and prepare vegetables. Things that pretty much people take for granted, and I took for granted for a lot of my life, but it's kind of caught up with me at age 60. So I can't do those kinds of things. Added to that, I have a chronic illness called fibromyalgia. It involves, it's a systemic disease. My theory, and a lot of people's theories, is on a cellular level that it begins. There isn't any cure for it, and it hits different people different ways. In my case, it is painful, and there will be times that I'll have really serious pain in just one part of my body, and as quickly as it appeared, it'll just leave. And this could be any place from about 7 days to maybe 2 or 3 weeks of this pretty bad pain. And but moreover than that is the fatigue. It's just overwhelming fatigue. You just don't have enough energy to do anything. So I've learned to really conserve my energy I pretty much work from bed. I work on a laptop. I do have an office that's not, I don't know, maybe 20 feet from where I am. And I go in there and work. I used to work a lot more in there, but I work less now. So back to the chemo. I was thinking, is it really fair to my family? They already have to do everything for me. I mean, I get up, I get dressed, I make the bed. Sometimes, since I got back from Austin, I've been so exhausted, I haven't made the bed. Some days I haven't gotten dressed. I think that's kind of a bad sign, and I don't think that it's just because I miss Austin and the people in Austin, although I do. I realize that I have an online support group, but I don't have a local support group anymore. So we moved, and the kids are not at home anymore, and it's changed over the years. I'm not in the house that I raised my kids in, and I'm in a totally different neighborhood, and it's just not the same at all. And I can't do the same kinds of social things. So fibromyalgia and the back thing taken in combination have really closed down my social world, and therefore my support system. You know, a lot of people get sick of being supportive of somebody that can't go out and do the kinds of, you know, I can't go shopping. You know, let's go have a great day at the mall. I can't do that. Let's meet one place for the first part of the meeting, and then let's walk a block and a half and have dinner. I can't do that either, or certainly not at this point. So is it really fair to my family to continue to try to live longer, essentially, to try to get rid of one disease that doesn't really incapacitate me very much? I mean, cancer, okay, the treatments and getting over the surgery have taken a lot out of me. Even having a breast reconstructed, what was I thinking? I probably shouldn't have done that. It's just another thing to go, another appointment. Yeah, so I'm rethinking all of it. I'm rethinking whether I should have chemo at all. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I need a couple more opinions. And it's not like life isn't worth living. It's not that at all. It's is it fair to subject somebody's family, who already do so many things for them, to having them be more exhausted because of chemo, and basically not able to do anything at all. I mean, anything at all. I'd be sleeping 24 hours a day probably for 3 or 4 months. I'm not sure that's fair to them. So I'm rethinking, and we'll see. But I didn't think that it was fair to the people that I've said, I'm going to start chemotherapy, to not give you some kind of explanation. And that may be more information than you needed, but you know, I wanted to let you know what I was dealing with, and that kind of stuff and that's not even including anything for pain. I have something very mild for pain, but it makes me itch, and it doesn't allow me to sleep. So if I take it after like 5 o'clock, I don't sleep at all that night. I've had a couple of nights that I've been up all night, and my online friends know that. That's why I've taken a pain reliever, and more than just Aleve, and it keeps me up. So that's my story, and I hope it's not too much for you. Thanks for your support.